All right, we're doing a live stream here. I'm just seeing how it's going. It looks like it's getting all set up and established. Let's see. It says I'm live, and here I am. Fantastic. Hey, we're going to do a live stream here, the latest WordPress news. I just need a moment or two to put an announcement out and get ready. If you're joining, if you wouldn't mind leaving a comment, it's right there. You can leave a comment so I know that those are coming through. Let me see. Come on, comments come through. I just wanted to make sure I'm capturing it so I can answer your questions. Let's see here. So we have my stream going. I just need to make sure I'm getting those comments. Let's see here. I just need a moment if you bear with me. Let's see. Okay. All right. You can start asking your comments if you like. Okay, maybe I needed to start this now. Give me a sec to log in. We're going to go over some WordPress news going on, some changes coming, and a bunch of SEO related news, theme builder related news. Okay, let's see here. Come on, comments. Need to make sure I capture these. Usually when people go live like this, what they end up doing is having some kind of a pre-show like this with the countdown and all that. I'm just going straight, and it doesn't seem like I'm getting comments for some reason. I hate when there's problems like this. Let's just last check here. Let me leave this here. Do a quick refresh. Why am I not getting the comments? I see them here. Okay, I'm just gonna probably not be able to display the comments live on the screen, which is not a deal breaker by any means. But this is unfortunate. Just bear with me just one moment, one moment longer, because I want to get this right for answering your questions. Thanks for joining me. Let's see here. Come on, what's going on here? This is why I get a little nervous going live sometimes. Little tech issues like this. So just bear with me one more moment. It might be my firewall or something. Okay, there we go. I've got my live stream right here. I'm clicking OK. And then let me click on view. If I don't have them, that's okay. I could still look at your comments manually on, I could look at your comments manually, and I just can't display them on the screen. All right, let me see what's going on here. I've got a lot of comments coming in. This is awesome. It makes it a little more difficult seeing them this way. Let me just show you what I see so you can see exactly what I see. So I have them all right here. And so I'll go through them as best as I can from the top to the bottom after I go through the news. Oops, you can see a little bit of a delay going on too. That's all right. All right. So let me just take a sip of water and start. I got to send a notice out to everyone, and we'll get started. All right. I've been meaning to do a live stream like this for a while. Let me show you really quick. I use Content Studio, and I can load up my social message right here, choose where I want it sent to. And so I'm sending this to like 5 places, and I'm going to click on Post Now, and it's going out to all those places. This was a lifetime deal last year and I think the year before, and it's actually pretty good. I use it for all of my social stuff right now. It's pretty good. I think the normal prices are a little high, but if you happen to have had a lifetime deal, you should log into it and check it out for sure. Okay, so now everyone's going to know to come here. Let me just check my comments. Yep, they are definitely not coming in. Let's see. That's fine. All right, let's get started. Let me close this out. Wow, I am rusty. Very, very rusty, but that's okay. So I want to do that. I need to click here, and then let me record this. Oops. Give me a sec. Okay, we got that. And now I'm recording. Fantastic. I want to thank you for joining me on this live broadcast. I do these every so often. I want to get into the habit of doing them every week, but I get a little busy, and I know everybody else gets busy. I don't know what the best time is to do this. Actually, if you have a time that you'd like to suggest, a good time to do this, go ahead and leave it down below. You can ask me questions right here live on YouTube, and at the end of the news that I go through, I'm going to go through and answer those questions. I'm not going to be able to answer every single question, but I do have a Facebook group, and darn it, I didn't put a link down below. It's just facebook.com/group/WPCrafter or /WPCrafter group. I'll put a link later in the video description box, and you can take your question there if I'm unable to get to it, because I don't want this video to last 3 or 4 hours. I want to be condensed with it in respect of your time and everybody else's time, but I do want to answer your questions. We got some exciting news, some things changing with WordPress, some SEO things that have changed that you're going to want to know about, some theme builder stuff, and a really cool update to a software that I've talked about before here on the channel. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it. But actually, before I get too started, before I get too much started, I want to let you know I'm going to be at several events over the next 4 to 5 weeks. I'm going to be at WordCamp Long Beach. That's Long Beach, California. So I'm going to be at that, and that is October 5th. It's this upcoming Saturday. I'll be there on the 5th for sure, probably not on the 6th. Then after that, I'm going to be going to Vid Summit. It's on the 15th, 16th, and 17th in Los Angeles. So if you're, a lot of YouTubers are going to be there. It's not like a WordPress thing. After that, I'll be at WordCamp US. As a matter of fact, here's the website for WordCamp US. I'm going to be there. I'm booked up my tickets, the hotel, and everything. I'm committed to going here. And when you go and you hover over info and you click down here where it says attendees, you can see everyone that's attending. And here I am on the third line, Adam at WP Crafter. I'll be landing on Halloween. This actually starts the day after Halloween, November 1st. However, I'll be getting there on Halloween, and I'll be leaving on the Sunday. So this is November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I know a lot of people that are on this channel are actually going to be here. Maybe we can organize some form of a meetup one of the days that the event is going live. I think it'll be a lot of fun to connect, just so that you don't feel like a stranger there. If you're not, if you don't know other people that are there, we can all connect and hook up. So that is coming up, and I'm going to be at those. And if you're going to be at them, let me know. Let me know in the Facebook group so that we can set up some form of a meetup. All right, let's get into the first story here. And this is the big one. I want to start with the big one first, but let me get a sip of water first. Got to stay hydrated. All right. Let me actually just touch base in the live comments here to make sure nothing's wrong. All right, fantastic. The first story is coming up right now. Well, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but a brand new version of WordPress is right around the corner. Now, usually these are reserved until right about or right after the big WordCamp US event. So that's actually happening November 1st this year, which is just a few weeks away. And this new version of WordPress is slated to be coming out about a week after that. I think it's November 10th or 12th, something like that. You'll have to look that up. But it's going to be right after WordCamp US. It's going to be version 5.3, and there's a bunch of different things. So I have the beta version, and I'm going to go over some of the things that are going to be different, just so you're not caught off guard. There's a lot of visual things different, and there's also some different prompts, some different enhancements to Gutenberg that I want to share with you. So let's go ahead and take a look at it right here. So wow, we actually already see one of the prompts right now. So what this is, and this actually goes to solve a real problem. If you're in your WordPress website and you go to settings and then you go to general, there's a spot there to put your admin email address. Now what happens is people put some weird email there and they're not getting important notifications from their WordPress website. Well, problem solved in WordPress 5.3. And if you are going to change that email address, you're going to be prompted to verify it. And here we are right here. I set up a brand new site using WordPress 5.3, and when I went to log in, it prompted me to verify this admin email. If you have clients that you give the login to the site and have an admin login, they might get a little startled by this. It's something new. So I'm just going to click right here to say the email is correct, and then it's going to kick me right into WordPress. And if you're looking at this screen, it looks a bit different. And I think it's kind of, I don't know, a downgrade if you ask me versus an upgrade. So one of the visual things you're going to notice right off the bat is they tried to add visual contrasts. So when you're looking at it, these are fields where you have to type something in, you know, your site title and your tagline and other pieces of information. But if you notice, the field now has that black outline around it. It looks different than what it looks like today. But it goes beyond. Actually, here's something I didn't even notice. There's this new little icon next to site language. So there's this visual difference. Let me click on the dashboard and you can see it here as well. I actually don't like this. I'm not a big fan of it. I think they could have done a little bit, done the same thing, but in a little bit different a way. But anyways, you can see it here. You can see it here as well. Especially where it says quick draft, you can see the dark outlines there. So it's got a bit of a visual difference, and you see this as well. If I was to say click on pages, you see it up here as well. There's also some color changes. So the add new button, it's just a kind of a bluish color and then a different shade of gray and then an outline like that. So you're going to have this all over the place in the new version of WordPress version 5.3. As a tutorial maker, and thank goodness it's not such a strong difference that it's going to confuse someone that watches an older tutorial. But this is just how it is. We're rolling with it. And I think we have changes all over, just little visual changes. So you can see right here the active theme. We've got just all over this outline, this contrast look. So that is one big change that you're going to see. And of course that admin email change. All right, let me show you some new blocks, some new Gutenberg enhancements that are in WordPress 5.3. So I already have a page set up right here. It's the home page. Oh, by the way, shipping with this is a brand new default theme. It's 2020. I have it installed. You saw that a moment ago right here, 2020. So I will never use one of the default WordPress themes personally, but this one I have to say is probably the nicest one that I've ever seen. Okay, so I'm going to click right here into the home page, and you can see this is using the Gutenberg interface. So a couple new things that I'll just go over really quick. Here's one that I actually like a lot. So when you click on the plus here to see your blocks that you want to use, we have this area here off to the right that gives you kind of a preview of what that block does. So when I start hovering over these different icons, you're getting different previews like that. You see that? So here's what a gallery looks like, here's what a list looks like, here's what a cover image looks like, and there's a little bit of extra info on it. Some of these obviously it doesn't make sense to have any info there, but what's interesting about this is it's giving you a preview of what it looks like using your theme, the theme that you have active. So here's common blocks. We have the same thing here. So you always know what it's going to look like before you use it. And here's the heading. So that's an interesting change. Another interesting change is with the image block. So when you want to go and add an image, you would do it the normal way. But over on the right here, let's see, you can see it where it says styles. It's a new option here. So this is the default, the way the image looks, but you can now have a circle mask. I like this a lot. So as long as the image is a square, well, it'll end up being a circle, regardless of the original source being a square. The only thing that stinks is you need to have the subject that you want in the circle dead center in that image, because there's no adjusting it or changing it. That's a feature that you can see inside of Brizy, where you can literally just, Brizy the page builder, you can literally just move the image around to make sure what you want is in there. And then you have Elementor, which will give you some different positioning options. Nothing's as precise as Brizy is, but this is a nice improvement. Okay, the next addition to Gutenberg is this group block. And so what a group block is it allows you to group blocks together. And what the purpose of that is so that maybe you would want to save that group and reuse that group together on different blog posts or parts of your website. So when you add the group block, here it is, you see you're immediately prompted to add blocks to the group block, just like this. But you can also move blocks in there. I haven't actually tested this. I wonder if I could just drag and drop it in there. It looks like, let's see, am I getting it in there? Is it going in there? It doesn't look like it's going in there. But you're supposed to be able to actually do that. So actually, wait a minute. I think I did get it. Did I get it? It looks like I did get it. So I guess we saw that in action. I think I'm in the group block. Let's see. I think I'm in the group block. Yes, it is. You can see right here it says group. So I did drag and drop it in there. It's not quite as intuitive as you saw there to drag and drop it, but you probably wouldn't do that. So the point is you can now group stuff together and reuse it. This is very helpful if you have a blog and you might want to create a block where you're maybe having two columns and you're comparing items with or pluses and minuses or something along those lines, where you can create those and easily reuse them over and over. Okay, the next option or improvement is columns. So here's the column block, and the minute you add the column block, you get the option to choose the format of the column. So if I just wanted a 2-column right here, I would choose that, and now I have my 2 columns. And then right here off to the right, you also have a percentage option. So I can change the percent with this right here, and it's super easy to do. So that's an improvement on columns. Now we also have an improvement on tables. Tables are awesome. I'm always frustrated with tables, and the only negative with the Gutenberg tables is it's not easy to make them pretty, so you'll have to apply some custom CSS to really make it a pretty table. Alright, so here we are. The minute you add tables, it's going to ask you right off the bat how many columns and how many rows you want. So let's say I want 3 rows and not 4 columns. You probably don't want to go much. You can go over 4 columns. That's fine. And I'll click on Create Table, and there we have it. We have our 4 columns and we have our 3 rows. So we have some additional options here. Let's see. Here's a styles for this. So this is default. Nothing really stands out. But then here's the other style where it looks cleaner. Definitely looks cleaner, and there's this alternating color for the rows. That's very good as well. All right, so for a button, they have the same thing. We have these styles, so we can have an outline, we can have a fill, and if you're noticing, these colors suggestions are defined by the theme that I'm using. Okay, we scroll down here, and you can also now set a border radius. So I usually like a border radius of 5. By default, this is all you could do right now, but I like 5, so we'll pop 5 in there, and it'll soften it up a little bit. And then you have the option right here to put your URL. So these are just some of the improvements that you get with Gutenberg, the new version that's going to ship in WordPress 5.3. Okay, let's take a quick look at let me leave this right here. Let's take a quick look at the theme. I'll go to the front end of the website. Here it is. It's all right. I do got to say it's nicer than the ones I've seen in the past. The topography is a bit too large for me personally, but you get some nice customization options. It's nice that they're there. So we have our color control. right here, and that includes this brownish color here in the background. You're able to change that as well as the color of the header and the footer, so you can have some basic customization options right here. Okay, we have some theme options. That's show the search in the header, cover templates, overlays, and all of that. So it's a nice basic theme, and it's going to give you some basic options. Now there's one last improvement or change, and it has to do with site health, and that is a feature that was introduced a few months back, where if you go to tools and you go to site health, now before it would give you your site health in terms of a number. Now the problem with the number is we obsess over numbers, right? If it's anything under 100, what is wrong with my website? So I'm glad to see that it's no longer based upon a number. It's now based upon good or bad or something along those lines. You can see right here for me, it says good, and it makes a few recommendations. So it's definitely good that they did that. And lastly, just a reminder, when you change your admin email right here, it says right here, the new address will not become active until it's confirmed. So it's just good to know about that as well. So these are the changes that are coming in WordPress 5.3. They're going to release several betas. I just showed you the first beta, and they'll have different betas out. But this is slated to go live, I believe it's November 10th. I could have it wrong by a few days. Not that big of a deal. So anyways, I just wanted to cover that so far in this video. Okay, let me go and just make sure the comments are working. Okay, they are. Fantastic. I'm not going to answer a lot of questions right now. I'm live streaming with my live streaming recording software called vMix, but I am going to talk at the end about live webinar. Okay, let's queue up the next thing. Okay, this is a good one. This is a good one. Let me just get a quick sip of water. All right. This is actually a very good one. Okay. If you've been on the channel for a while, I have made recommendations in the past for tools that you can use to install WordPress on your local computer. So if you're using a Mac or you're using a PC, I've shared with you free tools that are super easy to use that you can install WordPress. And the reason you'd want to do this is it can kind of speed up your workflow if you're building a new website. And I've also shared with you tools where you can push that to your web hosting account. Well, the main tool that I've always covered was called Local by Flywheel. And it's funny, the last time I made a video on Local by Flywheel, I had to just give lots of disclaimers. And the disclaimer went like this. It works great for most people depending on your computer. It's always worked great for me. I don't know if it's going to work great for you, but here's an alternative just in case it doesn't. Well, I'm excited to let you know that Local by Flywheel has a brand new beta out. Now keep in mind, this is a free tool, okay? They have a brand new beta out, and they re-architected how the whole plugin works, how the software works on your computer. So all those people that might have been having problems aren't going to have them anymore. And everybody that was using it and it wasn't a problem, but sometimes it would be slow, you're not going to have a problem either. So they even gave this a new name, and it's called Local Lightning or something. I actually don't like the name. They're calling it Local Lightning. It's not my favorite name. It's not catchy enough for me. There it is. Yeah, introducing Local Lightning. So essentially, Local by Flywheel. Actually, this is going to drive me nuts. All this flashing. Let me go here, and then I'll come back to it. The link to download this is in the video description box right now, by the way. All right, so it's free. Okay, so the old version of Local is, and if you actually go to just download it straight, you're going to get the old version. You're going to want to try this new version. But the old version was using something called virtualization. And virtualization slows down your computer. It eats up a lot of hard drive space, and it's not as fast as other alternatives. So that's what was causing a lot of the problems with older PCs and just some random issues. So what they did is they took that concept of virtualization, wiped it all out, and they're using something more closer to having the web server and all that stuff installed directly on your computer, like MAMP or XAMP. I might be pronouncing both of those wrong. So now it's going to do it that way. And I gotta say, I've been using it. I've got it installed right here. It's gonna look exactly the same. But the speed with which you can start one of these WordPress installs is lightning quick. So maybe the name Lightning isn't so bad. All right, so you go here. Okay, for example, right here you can see I have a site called Cartflow's Webinar Funnel. And watch, I'm going to start it, and you're going to see it's already started. Now, if you saw that, it took like 2 seconds, right? If you have used Local by Flywheel in the past, you know I would be waiting a minute for this to start. And here I'm going to stop it. You're going to see it just stops in a few seconds as well. It is lightning quick, and it's just because they ditched virtualization. So if you had a bad experience with Local by Flywheel in the past, you might want to check out this beta, because the reality is the user interface for Local by Flywheel is so easy to use. I mean, it's incredibly easy to use. Add an SSL certificate, export your site, move it around. So there's a good reason to use it, and you can't argue with the price being free, but it doesn't matter how great something is if you have problems with it. So the good news is you're probably not going to have problems with this, and you're going to want to try this out. Now, because, just because this is made by Flywheel doesn't mean you have to use Flywheel hosting. You can export this using WP Vivid. It's a free migration tool. And there's another one called Migrate Assistant. I forget the name of it, and that's done by the Blog Vault people that you might want to use as well. It's a great tool. I recommend it. Now, switching from the old version to the new version, you have to, on the old version, right-click on your sites and then choose the export option. So it has to be started. So I'm right-clicking. I'd have to choose export. It saves everything to a file, and then in Local Lightning, you will import it. So that's all there is to it. I, for one, am excited. So you're going to want to use the link that takes you to this page right here to download the latest version of Local Lightning. It's going to be, see, it has version number 5. That's the one you're going to want. So we have Mac OS, we have Windows, and check this out. I think some people are going to be happy. A Linux version. I don't think they had that before, but now they do. So it's going to make it super easy to have a local development environment. And hopefully people aren't too burnt and turned off by a bad experience that they might have had with the version that used virtualization. But it's worth taking another look at Local Lightning. I'm going to have to get used to that. Hopefully they don't have that name later on. So I'd like to see what you think about Local Lightning down below. All right, so that is the second story. Let me just make sure my live comments are coming through. All right, they definitely are. Fantastic. Okay, so that was the second story. And we're going to get into the next two ones, which are very important regarding search engine optimization. Let me just get a quick bottle of water. I'm trying to go at a good pace to not make this too long. The next two are kind of important. The first one, not so much. Some people maybe, but not for everybody. If you've been on this channel for any amount of time and you've watched any of my search engine optimization videos or keyword research videos, I always talked about a tool called Keywords Everywhere. It was a free Chrome extension, and when you added it to your Chrome web browser and you're in Google and you did a search, it would tell you how much search traffic that keyword has, what does the paid ads go for it, and it would actually do that not just on Google, everywhere. Keywords Everywhere, get it? It would pull in this real-time keyword research data. Now, sadly, but it's not sadly, it just is what it is, that costs a lot of money to capture that data and deliver that data. Here's an announcement that on October 1st, 2019, it's going from a free tool to a very, very, very low cost tool. So you can come to this article right here. It talks about the pricing structure. It's going to be very low cost. I bet you a lot of people are probably not going to continue using it after having the cost. And the cost of the plan is a little on the confusing side. So they're going to have a payment plan that will be $1 for 10,000 credits of keyword data. But then how that's calculated is a little complicated if you ask me. So basically the way it's going to work is for a Google search where you see 20 results, 20 related keywords, and 50 people also ask for keywords. See, I get lost a little bit there. One main query. So then you got this big old math computation. That's 71 credits. So their estimates, the average user is going to end up spending about $2 per month for this keyword tool. I must say, though, that $2 per month for a keyword tool is very, very cheap. If you look at these keyword tools, they're expensive. So there's the free Uber Suggest, but I think at some point they're going to go on a paid model. But right now it's free. Some people have debated the accuracy of the data. So there's that, and it's free. But then there's other keyword tools such as Ahrefs, which is probably the higher end. I think that starts at $99 per month. And then there's a wide variety of paid SEO tools. So, but I did want to let you know, if you've been on this channel and you're using it, so that you're not shocked come October 1st, wondering what the heck happened to your keywords everywhere data. So yeah, that was the second story right there, or the first SEO related story. Let me just check here. All right, so there's a couple questions about it. Let's see, there will be limitations right in the paid version. I don't think there's going to be limitations in the paid version. I think it's just you get your credits. It's all credit based. Okay, now this next SEO story is a little important. My website just got hit by this. Maybe your website got hit by this, or if you have clients, their website just got hit by this. Google has something in their search results called rich snippets. It's those stars. If someone leaves a review, and you can optionally try to show the review stars in the Google listing. And what happens is it's very eye-catching, right? Someone does a search, they see stars, not just words, and it will draw your eyes there and you'll click on it. Well, those are called rich snippets, and there are tools for WordPress to add those rich snippets to your website, and Google will sometimes pick those up and show them for your website results when they're suggesting your website. Well, all good things come to an end. There have been some changes with rich snippets. My website got hit hard. So if you're wondering where the heck your rich snippets have gone, then maybe this is info that is going to help you. So here's an article that says Google cracks down on some rich snippets reviews. But there's other rich snippets where they've changed the rules with it and tightened it on up. And this is based on information that Google recently put out. So essentially, here's like 3 rules that Google's being very clear about. Google is now showing review-rich results only for a clear set of schema types for review snippets, non-self-serving reviews. This I've seen. You do a search, and it's the product's website, and every page on that website, it's showing 67 or some random number of reviews, and they're all 5 stars. Those are self-serving reviews, and they're gone already. They're gone now. Okay, and reviews that have the name property within the markup. This is where you have to pay attention to this right now. So even if the rich snippet, the schema that you're using on your website for various pieces of content is not going to be affected per se with regards to the self-serving concept and some of the review schema types that are not going to get those stars anymore. You still have to make sure you go in and make sure this property is set up right. I'll be the first to admit that it's not on my website, so all of the rich snippets for my website have been wiped out. What this means, though, is if you have been relying on a reliable provider for that to add schema to your website, so for me, it's WP Schema Pro or Schema Pro, something like that. It's by Brainstorm Force. I'll have to get a link and put that down below so you can see the exact schema tool that I'm using. And it's probably a good time to have a brand new video tutorial about schema. Point being, they released an update a few days ago, and if you're not using that schema tool and you're using another one, you're going to want to make sure that the developer is going to provide an update. But that doesn't solve the problem. Updating it doesn't solve the problem. I have to go in there and I have to add the name property, and then I have to put information in that name property. So I have a little bit of work to do. Maybe you have a little bit of work to do as well. Here is a list of the schema types that are going to show rich snippets. So we got books, course, episode, events, games, how to, movie, product organization, recipe, and all of that. So each of these schema types have different requirements. I know this is kind of a techie topic, but it's a very important topic. If you were using this and you're noticing your snippets are now gone from Google, now you may know why. Now, sometimes the WordPress theme that you're using, the theme developer is putting those rich snippets in, or the schema that would generate those rich snippets in the theme. Well, you want to make sure that that theme developer is on top of it as well if you're losing your snippets in Google. Anyways, if you have clients and they notice their stars are gone and they're knocking on your door, now you know why. If you're Googling your own website and they're gone, now you know why. I'll go ahead and work up a new tutorial for rich snippets given this information. It's a good time to do that anyway. And I will put that out and add a link in the video description down below. Okay, that was the second SEO story. This actually happened to me. It's unfortunate because, okay, good. I still have your comments coming in. Wow, there's 158 people watching now. I'm humbled by that. I hope you notice how I'm doing this. Some of you live streamers can maybe learn what I'm attempting to do here. I'm intentionally live streaming this in a format where I can slice it and dice it and have shorter videos because not everyone's going to watch this live stream. So it's going to get sliced and diced. That's why I'm kind of introducing before I talk about something new, and then I try to close it. And then I take my water in between. So next coming up is theme builder stuff. And then we'll talk about live webinar for a moment. And then what we'll do is move on to any questions that you guys have. All right, so let's cue this up. All right. Actually, I'm going to just go over this one quick. You know, Elementor had a new version. I already had a couple videos out. Why waste anyone's time on this? The big thing is the Pro Gallery. I'll make a tutorial and put this out, this Pro Gallery. It's actually a really cool module. And what you kind of see happening is Elementor just eliminating the need for third-party plugins left and right. This is a really cool gallery tool, and it's probably all that maybe 90% of people would need. I think it's awesome that they're doing that. So I'll go ahead and put out a tutorial. I think a lot of photographers are going to benefit from this. If you have any kind of portfolio that you need to show, you'll definitely benefit from this. And it's in the pro version. It's not in the free version. Sorry, free version users. This is just going to be in the pro version of Elementor. A side note, and this is definitely unplanned, if someone can answer in the chat, it looks like Elementor took away the renewal discount. Now, if you had a renewal discount, you still have that. You're grandfathered in on that. But I didn't notice this before. It says per year, where I don't think it said per year before, or maybe it did. I was looking to see if there's anything about a renewal discount. I think they got rid of it. If someone can confirm that, if they know anything about that or when that happened, I'd be interested to know. I purchased this plan here like the day or the day after they launched it years ago, and so I'm kind of grandfathered into a 50% renewal discount. So for me to have Elementor, I don't get it free, but that's all right. I pay $99 a year to have this plan renewing, and my renewal comes up this December. Okay, so that wasn't much of a news story, but this one might be. Beaver Builder did this in 2017. Elementor followed right behind them in 2018. And coming up in just a few weeks, Divi, late to the party, but better late than never, is coming out with Divi version 4. And what am I talking about? What did Beaver Builder do? Then Elementor, and now Divi, they are adding a theme builder. What's interesting though is they did this a little differently than everybody else. Everybody else released everything at the same time. So to have a theme builder, there's several components to that. Number one, you need to have dynamic fields. That means allowing someone to use advanced custom fields or pods or just straight up custom fields to pull that data into a template. Well, they released that separately from the theme builder on its own a few months back. Another aspect to having a theme builder that you need is different plugins to have it be broken down into separate modules. So just a few weeks ago, they released Woocommerce Modules. You can build out beautiful product pages. That's another component of a theme builder. And so they released that not that long ago as well. But now they're going to release the full package, and you can see the countdown timer right here says in about 17 days, Divi 4 is supposed to be released. I will defend them a little bit. They had a bit of extra work to do in order to deal with Gutenberg. They had a lot more work than the other builders had to do, and that probably is what slowed them down. Also with that is going to be custom headers and footers. That's going to be exciting. That's something that they really should have done a long time ago. That was on their radar years ago, many years ago, but they just never did it. But that's where having other page building tools that are progressing rapidly helps everybody, right? Because now Divi users were saying, Divi, what's up? You know, where's my theme builder? Where's my header builder? And they have to deliver. So there's this page right here. You can just I have a link in the video description box. They have a little contest going. I never enter these types of raffle contests myself. But here's some old information on it. It's going to explain what exactly you can expect. Obviously, a big thing for users is going to be headers and footers. I'm hoping that you can show them based upon rules, not just globally. I think they would have had to build that. And then you can have site-wide post templates. Interesting, it says site-wide, but I'm pretty sure I saw a demo and you can apply this to just certain categories or certain criteria. And then it says and more right here. So I'm excited for this because it's something that Beaver Builder users have been able to have for a long time. It's something that Elementor users have been using for a long time. And I'm very experienced with this because I bought Beaver Builder when it first came out, when they released Beaver Themer to be able to do this, and it was amazing. And I had a bunch of tutorials on it. So when Elementor came out with it, oh my gosh, I was so happy. And I use it all across my website. So when Divi releases it, I'm going to be sure to cover fresh new tutorials on creating custom post types and creating custom fields and using its theme builder on it, and really make these things very easy to understand so that you can get a whole lot more out of what you have already purchased. So let me know what you think about Divi 4 down below. I'm excited that they're doing this, and I hope it's a smooth transition when they release it, that there isn't many bumps in the roads. And I would also like to see some surprises out of Divi with regards to this and the feature set. I would hope that it's not just what Beaver Builders had for 2 years and what Elementor's had for a year and a half. I'd hope that they bring some fresh new take on it and new surprises versus just following everybody with the features. I can say in my experience of watching Divi add features to the tool that they tend to go a bit deeper than Elementor does in what they allow you to do with the feature. So I'm looking forward to seeing what fresh new ideas Divi brings to it. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section though. All right, so that was Divi. I'm sure a lot of you guys already knew about that, and everybody has their preference on page builders. Mine, you guys, anyone on the channel knows, I just prefer Elementor, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the other ones. It's just my preference, and I think anything that I could have said negative about Divi, they're solving with this. They're giving their users what they have to right now, which is these features where you almost don't really need a theme anymore, and it's good because the Divi theme, the features of the theme, they're not really that good. The builders, a lot of people like the builder, but the theme itself has not been good. So this might be a way for them to solve some of those issues with it. I can say that in my own personal experience and in a lot of people's experience that I've talked to that are power users of Divi gets a little on the glitchy side when you start adding custom CSS and when the page gets longer. So all of those Divi tutorials that you see on YouTube, a lot of them, they had to work around these glitches to kind of not have it show up in the video. So there is this glitchiness to it. But that's just when you're adding custom stuff and you're really pushing it to its boundaries. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying this live stream. All right, and so that's actually it for the segments. I did want to just point your direction at this deal on AppSumo called Live Webinar. If you do webinars, want to do webinars, this is a deal that these things are extremely rare. It's like finding a dinosaur today. You're not going to find a dinosaur. They're all gone. It's extinct, as well as a lifetime offer on a webinar platform that's extinct. You can visit WPCrafter.com/live webinar, one word, and it's going to take you right here. I did a full review. Yeah, you might hear my dog in the background. I did a full review video on this, and you might want to check that out. It's rock solid. It's not half-baked. I mean, this thing is impressive, fully baked. It's impressive technology, and it's just that good, and that's why I'm stopping to remind you about it. There's been a couple changes to the deal. So the one things you want to know is you can stream in 30 frames per second, full HD, there's no problem, but recording is in 12 frames per second, which I actually saw a recording in 12 frames per second, and it wasn't so bad. But if you purchased a 5-stack, I hate that they do it that way, you can record in 30 frames per second as well. See right here, it says the difference, recording in 30 frames per second, and right here, recording in 12 frames per second. So you have that information there. Now, there's also something quite interesting, it's not listed right here, but they have a little info on it right here. So most webinar platforms, you can only have one concurrent event. You can't have more than one. Well, they made it so if you bought an additional code for $99, you can, it says it's going to add 2 2 additional concurrent sessions. I don't know if it's 2 or 1. Here's like an example of it right. It is 2. So if I bought an additional code, instead of 1 concurrent session, I can have 3 concurrent sessions. And this is something that you don't see in any webinar platform tool. Now, what's interesting is they are going to be adding evergreen webinars. They say it's about a month away. We'll see if it's really a month away, but I think that's when the concurrent is going to be important, because I would think that when an evergreen webinar is happening, that it's going to use up one of your sessions. And if you only have 1 session, now obviously it starts getting expensive, right? But you can't find a lifetime deal on a webinar platform. Go look at any webinar platforms. They're all $50 to $100 a month. And the more attendees you have, it gets really expensive per month. So it's something that you might want to look at. There's also some interesting stuff I showed in the tutorial video, how to make a webinar funnel where you're actually embedding the webinar. You can custom brand it. You're embedding it inside of your funnel. It's pretty neat stuff. I should do a dedicated video on that. But I did a live webinar using live webinar, and it was pretty rock solid. So you can ask me any questions about that down below. And the last bit of AppSumo news, and then I'm going to get to your questions. They have a last call coming up. This is if you have their Plus plan, AppSumo Plus. I think it's like $99 a year. And so they've got this thing where they bring back deals just for Plus members. So they're bringing back Ollie AI. Was not interested in that. Social Bees, interesting. I use Content Studio. Crisp, which is very interesting, and that is the noise cancellation using machine learning. They're bringing back Plutio, which is a blast from the past. It'll be interesting to see how that is. And then Clear Out, that is for verifying the email addresses that you might have in your email list. Okay, so I'm going to go full screen on me and take a look at your questions. Unfortunately, I don't have it so I can show the question on the screen, which really stinks. I got to get that nailed down better. Let me take a quick sip of water, and I'll try to get through as many questions as I can in the next 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll wrap this up. Thanks for joining me on the live stream today. I want to get to a pattern of doing this weekly. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start. Okay, so we got folks on here from Japan. Anyone in Japan? I just missed a total Japan trip for free. My wife and son and mother-in-law. My wife's Japanese. My mother-in-law's Japanese as well. They're going to Japan to visit family, and I decided to stay back so I could go to Vid Summit. I know I'm going to have FOMO when they leave very soon, but it's okay. I'll go with them next time. All right. Okay, let's see. Panama in the house, Puerto Rico. I'm just scrolling to the questions. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. 2 questions. Oh, this is a great one right here. Okay, 2 questions. Do you recommend buying Thrivecart for e-commerce? And I'll answer that. It depends. If you want a software as a service based platform, you can't beat Thrivecart. Now, Thrivecart, my one criticism of Thrivecart is quite simply they're marketers and they overpromise, and I think that they underdeliver. If you go into the Thrivecart Facebook group, you're going to see all these grand announcements of the big update coming, the big update coming, the big update coming, and the big update never comes. So it's an e-commerce platform that was released in 2016, and it looks like an e-commerce platform that was released in 2016. It's by no means flexible, customizable, or pretty, but pretty is a personal preference. I think it's very dated, but they claim all these things are coming. Who knows if they are or not. You can't beat the fact, though, that it has a built-in affiliate management system into the platform, and so it's good, but you just need to make sure it meets your needs. Now, it's might shock some of you guys. I have an e-commerce product that a lot of you guys might know about called CartFlows, and CartFlows basically replaces everything that you can do with Thrivecart. So you might want to look at that, but just because I have a competing product, I'm not going to say that Thrivecart isn't really good, and people that use it love it to death. And there's a lot. It's a great tool. It's a great software as a service tool. So I'll just leave it at that. If you want to check out Thrivecart, visit WPCrafter.com/Thrivecart. I have a full video review on my website, so you can head over to my website and do a search for Thrivecart, and you can learn about Thrivecart. Second question is, let me read it. Okay. What's your evaluation review on Crocobox plugins? You know, that's a great question, because when they came out, I didn't like it at all, and I've followed it in the past year since it was released. I am impressed with what they ended up doing. Now, I have heard of a lot of people complaining about website performance when they're using that, bugs and glitches that it causes, but you can have that with any plugin, so I have to dig in and see for myself. Now, what's undeniable is that the Crocobox suite of tools is a tremendous value, and it's quite astonishing, the value of the tools that they provide and all that it's going to allow you to do using Elementor. So I keep an eye on the channel. I want to have a full review over the tools. I'm going to have to do it kind of quick because they give you so many tools. I will say it also comes with a theme. I would definitely recommend not using that theme if you're using Crocobox. And also, if you want a discount to Crocobox, I have it on my website for you. I did a video about the 9 best Elementor add-ons, or not the best, but unique Elementor add-ons, and Crocobox was included in that video. If you go to the homepage of my website, you'll probably, or click on blog, you'll definitely see the thumbnail for that, and there's discounts on just about all 9 of those products for you, so you can save a bit of money there. So if I was developing websites for people, I would probably have to have, in using Elementor, I would have to have Crocobox in my suite of tools that I use, because what it gives you the ability to do, other tools just don't have. Okay. All right. I'm not using Virgil's asking if I'm using Restream. I'm not using Restream on this one because I just wanted this to go to YouTube. And I'm trying some new things with how I'm doing this. It's taxing my computer. I hope the live stream's going out smooth. Okay. Let's see. Martini time. Pat, martini time. No martini for me. I've been doing keto for the last 5 weeks, trying to slim down by the before the end of the year. And if you have a martini on keto, it's going to hit you pretty hard. He's referencing prior live streams where I had a martini. And I'll definitely do that again because that's a lot of fun. Okay. All right. I'm halfway through here. Interesting question, a statement. I'll have a difficult time pronouncing the name. Several people stated that theme aisles themes, for example, the Neve theme, are faster than Astra than you always recommend. Your evaluation and review on this statement. I'll tell you, and I've done tests on all these themes. The themes that I recommend, I've done tests on those. I can't test every theme, obviously. The differences in performance between them are so minuscule, minor, they're just completely irrelevant. And so I haven't tossed in Neve. I'd be very surprised if Neve offered anything meaningful in comparison to the others as it relates to speed. It might offer other features that are meaningful, but as far as performance, it's going to be hard to beat out the performance of these themes because they're already so performant. There's only so much left that they can do. So any improvement would just be so minor that you could default back to the theme that you prefer. So that was a video I did a few months back, and the themes I compared was the Hello theme from Elementor, GeneratePress, Astra theme, Page Builder Framework, and one more that I can't seem to remember right now. So there was 4 or 5 themes in total, and it was all such minor differences between them all. So if you think you're going to get some great advantage or benefit, it's not going to be from a performance standpoint. It would only be from a feature standpoint. All right. All right, Nathan just went to WordCamp Sacramento. I hope you had a good time. Okay, Raphael, I'm not sure if you're still on. Raphael asks, is Elementor good to use from an agency point of view for client work? And then he adds additional information saying that our SEO specialist frowns upon page builders and is recommending to consider using Gutenberg. I'm going to tell you, Gutenberg performs better than all the page builders, even the ones that like to brag at how awesome they are, performance, and trash everybody else. Gutenberg performs better than those too. Gutenberg is not where it needs to be in order to build an entire site if you want to add some splash, some design to it. So Elementor is going to get you closer there. Any website that you have, if SEO really matters to you and performance really matters to you, you're going to need to put it on good hosting, and you're going to need to do the 4 or 5 things to improve the performance of your website. You're going to need to optimize your images. You're going to want to use a performance plugin that makes sure that you only load what needs to be loaded on a page-by-page basis. You're going to need to use a caching solution. Ideally, that caching solution would be server-based using Redis, and I might be pronouncing that wrong. So you're going to have to do those. So if you built a site with Gutenberg and then you built a site with Elementor that looked better and functioned better from a conversion standpoint, and you did those things and you got all those bases covered, the improvement from a performance perspective would be so minimal that there's virtually no difference. There's a lot of old school information, and I get it. You know, if you're used to doing things a certain way, you're going to say, let's not add this page building tool or that. But the reality is these tools are getting better and better, and I wouldn't be surprised if Elementor makes major pushes in 2020. Let's just call it 2020. That's like the TV show 2020. In 2020, on the performance front. They're already creating custom frameworks and JavaScript frameworks for the different modules that they're building. I wouldn't be surprised if they put a big focus on performance. All right. Yes, I am drinking bottled water, Kathy, if you're still here. It's not a reusable bottle, but I do recycle. All right. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm trying to get through these. I don't want to make this a marathon, but you can play this back at increased speed. Oh, here's a great question, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name right. And the question is CSS Hero, is it the leading CSS editor for WordPress? I gotta say, I don't like CSS editors. I know some of them will make your life easier. I just don't like them. I know on my website there's CSS things that I would like to be different, and I just crack open and manually struggle my way through it. I don't like the CSS editors at all. There's CSS Hero, there's Yellow Pencil, but I understand that they can allow you to change some things that might be difficult to change. Reality for me, I'm now doing everything in a page builder, so I don't really feel like I need a CSS editor is going to bring anything really to the table. Just maybe solve some minor annoyances that might not already be settings inside of the page builder, but it's very few and far between what I would need. So I really think that CSS editors like that are kind of a dying breed, and eventually you're probably gonna get very little benefit out from having them. That's probably why you don't see me talking about those tools much here on this channel. I hope that answered your question. All right. There's some chatter about Gutenberg, and that's great. I would love for Gutenberg to just get further down the road. Further down the road, and then you don't even need a page builder, and the performance is there. It's an amazing, have it be an amazing tool. You know, they've already showed, and I might have shown some videos, some mock-ups of what it would be like an entire site editing experience using Gutenberg. I hope it gets there. I hope it gets there, but it's not there right now. All right. Let's see. I'm scrolling through these questions. I know, no martini, but I'm going to get it. All right. Okay, some people echoing that they enjoy Local by Flywheel as you guys are funny. You guys leave some really funny questions. We got Denmark in the house. So, okay, I want to become a WordPress millionaire. Me too. Let's see. Local by Okay, yeah, Virgil saying Local by Flywheel rocks, but it's slow. Not anymore. Not anymore. Okay, let's see. All right. I'm just still scrolling through these questions to find some questions. I'm getting to the bottom. I think I'm now at the point where I was talking about keywords everywhere. All right. Scrolling through. Virgil, you're saying that you use Schema Pro as well as me. They pushed out an update last week, but like I was saying, for my own site, I need to go in there and implement some of the new schema regarding name. So I have to have the product name for the reviews. Okay, let's see here. I'm almost to the bottom of this list. So if you have a question, I'm getting to it. Here's a question. How do you create WooCommerce custom login and registration page? Actually, it's more just a WordPress question. It doesn't have to be about WooCommerce specifically, but with WooCommerce, when you install it, it's going to create a page called My Account. And what happens is when someone goes to visit the My Account page and they are not logged in and they don't have an account, they're going to be prompted to log in or create an account. And there's also some additional options in WooCommerce. If you go to WooCommerce settings and then where it says accounts and privacy, there's going to be options there to allow someone to create an account when they check out and log in. And there's other account related options that are there. If it was me, I am an Elementor user and I use Elementor Pro, and they have a module in there for logging in and for registration. I would just use that and do something really tricked out and custom. So it really boils down to the tools that you have on your site that you like to use, but those native options are there, and that's where you're going to find it inside of WooCommerce settings. Now what happens though is people will create, or that page is created, and then they look at it and they see the My Account stuff and they don't realize that it's going to look different when you're not logged in, and those options are going to end up being there. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Elementor, margaritas. Oh, I'm getting to the bottom. This is good. Let's see. Yes. Oh, well, let me see what's going on here. Let's see. Talking about Elementor. Virgil has a great comment. It's not a question, but I did want to read his comment and talk about it for a moment because it's about theme builders, okay? So Virgil's saying, I miss Beaver Themer. I like the Elementor, but Beaver Themer's logic is better. This is my observation, okay? It has to do with this analogy of, do you choose to go wide with your features or do you choose to go deep with your features? So a perfect comparison, and it's a strong contrast. You have Beaver Builder and Beaver Themer. Let's just put those two together. And then you have Elementor with their theme builder. Beaver Builder goes deep, 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 deep with what you can do with the features they build. Elementor doesn't do that, and you just have to deal with it. They go wide, 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 and keep adding new features and stacking them side by side. Now, if you're a developer and you're particular, so for me, I'm not a developer, but I am particular. It can be frustrating, right? I use Elementor and they just don't go deep with their features. Let me give you a perfect example of that. On day one with Beaver Themer, you could use all different field types with their dynamic field feature. I loved it, but I wanted to use Elementor. Elementor comes out with their theme builder. Well, guess what? I cannot use a number field type with Elementor. And it was that way just until this last update 2.7, where they added the ability to use number fields with their modules. So now I can use it in, say, a progress bar. You have a progress bar and there's a number, right? The percentage of the progress. I couldn't do that up until this past update last week. So that's a perfect example of, with Elementor, you just got to kind of wait on them. Another example, amazing feature Elementor Pro has, which is the pop-up builder. I don't think people grasp how awesome this feature is, but it doesn't have analytics. When they launched it, it didn't have exit animations. They have that now. They still don't have the analytics, but it's a great feature. So they keep going wide with their features. They don't go deep with their features. I've noticed with Divi makes their features a little deeper, but more for the user with presets. And I do like that a lot. So I'm excited to see what ends up happening when that comes out. And I sure hope that they have some surprises for us. But I just wanted to say, that's unfortunately what you have to accept using products from these different companies. All right. Okay, let's see here. I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree with that. Okay, let's see. What are the big changes coming? So you must be late to the thing. Here's a great question regarding live webinar. So the question is, does live webinar work for multiple brands and sites? It does. And this is how it does. You can actually create a custom styled webinar room, and you can save these profiles, and when you're about to go live and have your webinar, you can just apply one of these profiles. So this is going to include the logo that's in the top left. It's going to include all of the colors, and you're going to be able to custom brand all of those. So I have a couple brands, right? I have WPCrafter. I can use some greens. I also have Cart Flows. I can use some oranges. Those are the colors that are along with those brands that I have. So you can actually do that using live webinar. Now I believe you have to do the 2-stack, so you have to get 2 codes to be able to customize the look and feel of the webinar. And I'll tell you that all of the webinar tools, I don't think any of them, and correct me if I'm wrong down below in the comments, none of them give you the ability to customize that webinar room to that extent. All right. Oops. Oh my gosh, it just jumped. Okay, sorry, I lost my place. Okay, here we are. There's my live webinar. I'm going to get through all these questions. I'll probably go for just a few more minutes though. It's getting a little late. Let's see. Another question about white labeling live webinar. It's still going to keep this tiny little thing at the bottom left of the webinar room that says powered by live webinar or heart by live webinar. I doubt anyone's going to even realize that. It's just, so someone's going to look at that and say, oh, I'm on a live webinar versus, ooh, live webinar, the company. So, there's a question here. What about Thrive Architect? I need to update my stuff on Thrive Architect. They're doing some interesting things with Thrive Architect. Their theme builder, when I think of their theme builder, I think of that famous common meme where the lady from Titanic, the older lady, she's like saying, it's been 84 years, and it has the text that says, it's been 84 years. That's how long we've been waiting for Thrive Architect to build their theme builder. I have some thoughts on that, but I've been meaning to put out a new video on that. Wood Beast on YouTube saying, I missed the news. Don't worry about it. This is recorded, and you can just skip to the beginning and catch that news. Gotcha. This is a random question. What type of custom post plugin would you use or would you suggest to make a video streaming site? You don't need different types. There's not really different types of custom post types. There's different purposes for custom post types. So you can create a custom post type, call it video, add some custom fields, one of them being for your video embed, and there's your custom post type. As a matter of fact, that's what I do in a lot of the content on my website myself. Yes, Thrive Architect is another contender, and they are. Let's see, I'm scrolling through here. Virgil's asking about, okay, Virgil's saying regarding live webinar, with live webinar, what does the share on social media mean? And can you talk about the whiteboard? Sharing on social media is, I believe in the context of live webinar, is the ability to stream to those social platforms. Stream to Twitter, stream it to Facebook on a page, or stream it to a Facebook group. As a matter of fact, I did a live stream using live webinar to the WP Crafter Facebook group, and I invited people to join on live webinar and actually come into the webinar with video and audio. It was a lot of fun. I had at 1.6 or 7 people on there, and we were all having a good old time. There is, if you look at my live webinar review, in the video description, there's a link that takes you to that in the Facebook group, or you can jump into the Facebook group, the WP Crafter Facebook group, and see that. And your follow-up question was about the whiteboard. I showed the whiteboard in my review video. It's fantastic. Well, I don't know what more you could do with the whiteboard. Okay. Okay, I'm skimming faster. If I miss you, remember, join the WP Crafter Facebook group, ask in there, and I'll be happy to answer your question in there. Attraction marketing. What do you think of this live webinar? And the FPS is really low. You'd be surprised at how usable 12 frames per second is, number one. But if you got a 5-stack, you get 30 frames per second. I wish it was 30 frames per second with maybe the second stack, or just period. But I understand why they do it, because it takes processor capacity. Okay, I'm scrolling down. All right. Here's a great question. I was using it today from Cristiano. Could you comment on backing up an Elementor website? I'll tell you, I have several videos on backing up your website. It doesn't matter if it's an Elementor website or a zippity-doo-dah website. It's just backing up a WordPress website. And you have different types of solutions. There's 3 different types. The first solution is your web host. Never trust your web host for backing up your website. You are playing with fire. They could be like Jesus's web host. It doesn't matter. You don't want to trust it, period. You want to always have your own backup. So the second type of backup is with a third-party service. And so this would be like WordPress or Blog Vault, and they are fantastic. Those are like enterprise level backup solutions. If you have the money, if your website's mission critical, you're going to want to go those routes. But for the rest of us, we might want a plugin based solution that will make the backup and send it off to some storage location that we have access to, and it's off of the web hosting's server. So there are a couple options. The 2 that come to mind are Updrafts, and I've done many videos on this, and there's another one called WP Vivid. And what those are going to allow you to do is back up your website on a schedule and then send it off to some file hosting storage solutions such as Dropbox, Google Drive, an FTP server, Amazon S3, you name it. They have those integrations in there. What crazy part is it's free. Backing up is free, and restoring is free, and sending it off to those remote locations is free as well. You're going to get more features out of WP Vivid. Updrafts is good. I would take a look at WP Vivid. It's going to have more uses, and it's going to be more full of features. They don't have a business model yet. They said they were going to come out with a pro version. I don't know what they would add to a pro version, because the free version pretty much does it all. So hopefully it's not one of those situations where they gave too much away for free and they can actually turn it into a business. I use Updrafts, by the way. Okay. Jason. Actually, hey, I don't know if you guys are on my email list. I sent an email out last Friday. It was really cool. Some personal things that I have going on, I share in the email list. But I actually don't think I think if you go to my website and then you try to get off my website, a pop-up will appear and you can put in your email and get added to that email list. But Jason has a question. Any rumors on great deals coming for Black Friday and Cyber Monday? I think everybody's going to have a great deal on those days, except Thrive. Thrive Architect, all the Thrive suite of products, they don't do Black Friday sales, which I think is crazy. But just about everybody else is probably going to have fantastic and amazing deals. If you're on the email list, I will send out an email with the best curated deals and see if I can even get them to be sweeter for all the products and services that I've talked about on this channel, to ask for just a little bit extra for the people that are loyal to WP Crafter, subscribe, watch, and show up. So make sure you're on the email list there, and I will add info. Make sure you're in the Facebook group, and I'll add a ton of info in there as well for that. Which reminds me, the one thing I forgot to add to the news is, if you saw my review on Glorify app, it's a graphics creation tool. I do need to do an update on it. They added this new integration. It's really sweet what you can do, but I'll make a dedicated video to that. Greg, I'm actually to the end of the list. Okay, so Greg is asking, any thoughts on Tutor LMS, Adam, particularly for someone interested in building an e-commerce platform for multiple instructors? If you need to build an e-commerce or a learning platform for multiple instructors, you know what? You're going to have to go with Tutor LMS and just be grateful that that exists. I'm a big fan and a personal user of LearnDash, but I don't feel it's ideal for multiple instructor learning environments if you're trying to create an Udemy or something like that. Hopefully I said that right. So I think you would be better off with the Tutor LMS, because if you try to do the same thing with a solution that wasn't made for it, you're going to end up spending a lot of money on add-ons that just increases the cost of the solution altogether. My only criticism of Tutor LMS, I think they don't have a good idea of what consumers want. They're just trying to copy any feature that they can find. That's why there's some visual issues with it. Like, I personally I see the potential in the user interface, but I see all the problems that they've created for themselves as well. I see the way you create courses. It looks like they were trying to maybe copy some things you found in LearnDash, but LearnDash has already moved on from that. So I don't see a ton of originality. I think Tutor LMS has been more of a Me Too type of product versus I'm passionate about learning, and I've made this amazing product for you based upon my expertise. So contrast Tutor LMS to Lifter LMS, or let's even say LearnDash and Lifter LMS. Those two companies, the people that are behind it, are passionate about learning management systems, creating training. They're just so passionate about the industry. It's like they breathe and live and breathe this stuff, and they go to bed thinking about this stuff, and it's all that's on their mind. It's all they're dedicated and focused on. You don't see any of that when you look at Tutor LMS. It's just a product that they have along with a bunch of other products. So I just bashed them right after I told you that's your only option and use it. At the end of the day, it's going to be a great solution eventually. It needs to mature a bit more. So test it out, make sure it meets your needs, find out where it doesn't meet your needs, and maybe ask them if what is missing, if it's in their plans to add to it. So that's my full unfiltered view of Tutor LMS. You get unfiltered on these live streams. But I hope you can appreciate it. I mean, there's nothing sugar-coated at all. And, I might be a little rough on a product, but then I try to highlight their strengths as well. And so, like I said, it's the only solution for an Udemy that I would even consider. Okay, here's a great question. Rick asks, is there a good Elementor-based solution for making a directory listing site without having the whole theme, strategy, listing pro, etc., meaning just based on Elementor Pro with its own options? So I had made a recommendation a few years back on Listing Pro, and there's some nice things that Listing Pro does. They keep a lot of things in-house, but the big problem with Listing Pro is it's based upon Visual Composer, which is a dinosaur, and I wouldn't touch anything that has Visual Composer. Enter My Listing. My Listing is Elementor first from day one. It wasn't an afterthought. It was the original plan was to use Elementor, and they have built out all the custom modules for Elementor to have a cookie cutter plug and play directory website using the page builder that I like to use and sounds like you like to use as well, which is Elementor. So I would take a look at My Listing. If I had to make a directory theme right now, it would 100% be going with My Listing. Now, obviously, I could pull off a directory listing theme quite easily using custom post type, custom fields, all this kind of stuff. But you know what? I'd rather just get something like that, all custom put together in a theme. And that theme is growing strong. It's a constant top seller. I would definitely recommend going with that. And I've been intending for some time to have a full tutorial on My Listing, and I'm sure that will end up happening here, hopefully in the next 30 days. I don't know, but I'll have a link to that down in the comments section in the video description when that is available. So that is the recommendation there. Oh, awesome. Paul, you were the man. Paul asks, have you tried or looked at WP Ultimo for a WAS, for creating a WAS? And now I gotta be careful saying the word WAS because it sounds like something else and I can get in a little bit of trouble. I can even get my video demonetized for talking about WASs too much. So I do have a license to WP Ultimo. Now I was going to create a full tutorial on creating a WAS, but for those of you watching that don't know what a WAS is, well, we all know what a WAS is, but a WAS specifically in this context stands for Website as a Service, and that's where you would have what's called WordPress multi-site, and Ultimo allows you to do that very easily. Now, with that, I bought it last year for over Black Friday, intending to make a tutorial, and when I was talking to the developer, he had asked if I would maybe wait till version 2 of WP Ultimo came out. Here we are a year later, WP Ultimo version 2 never came out. It's not his fault. He has been doing all kinds of other important things with the plugin, so it's not by lack of effort, lack of interest, or lack of passion for the tool. It's just he's had other fires to put out. So I do intend on creating a full tutorial. I think the WAS business model is quite an interesting one, and it's an amazing tool for it. Okay, let's see. Here's a question about a knowledge base. Let's see. Oh, I think I skipped to the bottom. Okay, I think I got all mixed up here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Auto blog. I'm not a believer in auto blogging at all. Auto blogging is basically taking other people's content and trying to get traffic from it. Let's see. Steve Benton, you're probably still on. For a knowledge base, just use a blog or a plugin. I would use a plugin. There's a couple of them in the repo. There's WeDocs, which is by WeDevs, and I believe that's free in the repo. And there's another one by Brainstorm Force. I forget the name of that, and we use that obviously for cart flows. But I think the WeDocs one might look better. I don't know. Actually, I think if you, I don't know if it's publicly available. LearnDash has the most beautiful knowledge base section, and they use WeDocs. But they did some customization of the styling. Okay, Mac Raven, don't worry if you're late to the party. This thing all replays. You can go to the beginning. Oh, here's a great question. I get this asked all the time. I think we're at the bottom here almost. If we're not, I'm going to have to end this. I got dinner to have. Okay. My poor family. We have a little dog. You might have seen the dog. I've shown the dog many times. And he barks. He's a barker. So I bet my wife is holding him in a room close, just, not like restraining him, but holding him so he won't bark. But it's okay if he barks because we're in the Q&A. Okay, you know what? I'm going to answer this question, and then I might just answer one more, and then we'll have to get to them all in the Facebook group. So please join the Facebook group and copy and paste your question across. Raphael asks, would I need Pro version of Astra if I'm considering Elementor Pro? Would I need both? I'm trying to grasp why I would need both and how to sell the idea to upper management. Let me give you a piece of advice. I always say, get the Pro version of your page builder first, and then use the free version of the theme. There are some things that you get with the Pro version of the theme, but if you're on a budget, just go for Elementor Pro. That's going to get you more. It's going to get you the pop-up builder, the theme builder, the header builder, the footer builder, the dynamic content. It's going to get you all of that. So you might not even need a theme, really. It's still good to use a theme, and I would choose the Astra theme over the Hello theme, but you really don't need to purchase both if you're on a budget. I have the Pro version of both. I have a lifetime license to Astra, and I pay for Elementor Pro, so for me it's not that big of a deal. But if you the world has lots of different economies. If you're on a budget and you just can pick one or the other, go Elementor, go the Pro version of your page builder. Okay, I'm scrolling. Flip back. Elementor pop-up definitely needs a multi-step. Okay, I'm scrolling faster. The question, Adam, what do you think about Thrive Architect? Is there a future? Yes, there is. It's very, very good. I'm going to have a video out on it soon. Remember is asking about cart flows in the development. If you go to Cartflow's website, on the top right, there's a little bouncy thing that says what's new, and that will tell you what we're developing right now. We're developing a rules engine. It's been going on for the last 4 months. That's going to be the next huge feature we release, and we have a lot of new things coming to it. We're excited about cart flows. Okay, asking me about the Divi update. I'm excited, but I covered that earlier in the video. Samuel's talking about Vectera. It is a really cool tool. I never made a video on it, but that's because I was traveling, and I think I'm a little behind the 8 ball. Orlando's got a question about Elementor, if it's going to store entries for the form functionality like other form plugins do, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to do that, but I think there's a free plugin in the repo that allows you to do that. Question about using something like Spin Rewriter. I do not like what the output is. It looks so spammy, and I've never met anyone that makes money using auto blogging or spin tools. I know it's interesting, but I don't recommend that kind of stuff. I would rather put in the hard work myself. How much does it cost to host from Bluehost? I don't like Bluehost much at all, so I really don't know. For the same price, you can get SiteGround. Go to WPCrafter.com/SiteGround. Take 70% off. It's going to work much better. Okay. I really got to wrap this up. I'm dying of thirst. Kevin, just jumped some of the comments. Kevin's got a question here about WPMU Dev. I have a hard time with WPMU Dev. It's like when you go to a restaurant and they make everything but nothing's fantastic. That's kind of WPMU Dev. I know they've focused in on some things to make the products better. I'm personally not, I don't think their UIs suck. It looks pretty in the screenshots. Like I use their form plugin Forminator, and I'm like, did a 13-year-old like design this UI? I mean, it's just bad stuff. So I'm not really a fan of WPMU Dev, but I have heard some people like using their tools. I won't even use their free stuff, and I've wanted to use their free stuff, and I've tried using their free stuff, but I just can't get past some of the decisions that they make with regards to it. Okay, you know what? Best payment gateway, that's tough. Stripe, I use Stripe. Okay, toolkit for Elementor, I should try that out. I don't think it does much speed-wise, then you can't easily do yourself. Flipback, have you gotten a chance to check out Funnel Scripts? I have that. You're a friend of mine on Facebook. I'll give you my login if you want to check it out. I paid for that. You see... That's it. Oh, last question. Hi, Adam. Any white label for Elementor? There is a tool for that. I don't have the link, but if you ask in the Facebook group, I will post a link to a white label tool for Elementor. Okay, attraction marketing. Do you have any preference on a particular reseller hosting? I prefer using Cloudways. It's going to be a lot more performant than traditional reseller hosting. If you must use reseller hosting for separate cPanels, I would probably go with Name Hero. I actually have a conference call with them on Wednesday to talk about maybe if they can offer some kind of a special for WP Crafter subscribers, and I'll talk more about that in the group. Okay, this is it. For those of you 150 people that are on right now, thank you for being awesome. If you just hopped on, don't worry about it. I'm going to end the stream right now, but you can just watch it here on YouTube at a faster playback speed. Some of the segments, the new segments, it's really in the beginning. I'm going to slice and dice it up and have them out as different videos. Thanks for joining me on this. If you asked a question that I didn't answer, it's nothing personal. Don't feel hurt by that. Just jump into the WP Crafter Facebook group, and I'll be more than happy to answer the question there. And I'm sorry if I wasn't able to get to it in this video. Hey, that is it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for having my back. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Say goodbye to the stream. Oops, I'm going to fade to black.